Nobody would follow an uncharismatic bore like you!
Hey, nobody calls Soundwave uncharismatic! Yeah, let's kick tailgate!
Welcome back to the Tiny Humor Hanger. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the Magic Square MS-B27S Voice Ripple. It is their take on the third version of Soundwave. I think that this is a great mold. I think they've done a great job with it. This is not exactly the first coloration, more like the second, I would say, but I'm going to show comparisons of this. I'm going to show it compared to the first one that they put out and the last one they put out. This is the third one they put out, and they've, I guess, lowered the price because there's no cassettes. And with that, I did get this to show Z Store. I'm going to have a link down below where you can get yours. But let's get into talking about this. Let's do some comparisons, plus a bonus comparison people asked for coming up. Here's the box, and it's typical Magic Square packaging, and I didn't dig out the first version, but I can't remember. I don't remember if the first version had see-through packaging or not, but I think it did. I think in the earlier days, so they just went to no plastic. But what's more interesting is how this doesn't have a cassette in it. Like, it's got the space for a cassette, but no cassette. It's interesting. They reused this plastic, and I think that this had like a bubble in there. Anyway, fun stuff, but yes, no cassette. Alright, so here he is out of the package, and it took me a second, I forgot, and I want to show this because I forgot, but you slide this out to get the gun out, so you're basically sliding this thing back, and I was like, I forgot. I've got two other versions of this, and I forgot. Now, I want to point out the joints do feel nice and tight on this guy, obviously because he's brand new, but I still feel like it was tighter than the first one. The first one felt a little loose, a little on the loose side. But there's that, and then you can put this on pretty much either side that you want. And I think that's the correct side. Also, you want to keep it clear so you can do the whole eject button pose. Keep that side clear. But yeah, looking pretty good overall. Color-wise, so this is... Alright, I bumped the table. Color-wise, it is not as blue as the original, but not as dark as the second release. We're going to see this in the comparisons. I really do feel like with this figure, the comparison is absolutely the most important part of this figure, but I'm not mad at the color. I think it looks pretty good. I think it is actually, it's not super cartoon, but it's not exactly matching the toy. But if you missed out on the first one, they're giving us something pretty close. It looks good. I felt like the last one they put out was a little too dark, but yeah, this one looks good. And gosh, it just feels so tight. It's a nice and tight, new, fresh, new figure. Really good. But yeah, overall, not a whole lot that I feel is different with it. The face looks about the same. The gold around there, probably a slightly different color of gold. We do have the paint apps for the waist piece and the lower paint, but the vast majority of it is unpainted plastic, and that's sad. I was really hoping for a painted version, and the EX would be, in my understanding, if EX is Magic Square's painted version, if you want to go that route with it. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the obligatory stuff and then do what I feel is the most important, look comparisons. His accessories come in a bag here. You do get his card, which I generally don't show the cards because I just don't even do anything with them. We do have the eject button finger, and that literally makes direct contact with the eject button. So that's a really good hand to have. And I don't think I'm going to put any other ones on, but you can do some pointing so he can show his minions the direction of the attack, or he can point with the other hand, and then he could eject with the other. I gotta see how that happens. Now that I got them on the table and looking at them, I've noticed that this new one is almost exactly like the last one they put out. Maybe a slight bit lighter. It's not much different. It really isn't. It's very, very, very similar in almost every way. I'm actually hard-pressed to find anything different about it, except for the blue is slightly lighter, but that might be my lighting. That might just be my eyes. I don't know. But, yeah, this is the cartoony look that you get. And, wow. Massively brighter blue with the first release, and you got the yellow instead of the gold. And so the first release is still one which they have never done it in a reissue in that color scheme, and I don't know why, but maybe I do. Maybe it's because they want you to buy their very first release and that be something special, and that funds the mold, and then they just make extra money off these other ones. I'm not sure, but so these are very, very similar, much more similar than when I just first pulled it out and looked at it. Man, just look at the back of these two. I feel like this is the most important part of the video, but I still feel like there's a slight difference in blue, like slightly lighter color, but not anywhere near that light of a color. And here he is next to Megatron with the sort of the EX paint job, not quite 100% EX, but still I like the paint on that Megatron the most, and I want that. I wanted this in this paint level, but anyway. This one is the old Shockwave, which the more I look at it, I think he looks great. But I feel like his legs are a little chunky. He's got a little lower leg chunk going on there. And I do believe the New Age has a more slimline lower leg. So maybe in the future I might check out a New Age one of him and a New Age one of him. Speaking of New Age, Dinobots are all the rage these days. So I figured, you know what the heck, why not show the New Age Dinobots with them? That size scale comparison, I think New Age and Magic Square are doing a great job with their dinos. And a special request to compare this to the Hasbro one, because I guess the Hasbro one's coming out. Everybody's excited about the Hasbro, the Netflix Earthrise one that's finally getting a regular standard release. But looking at the Magic Square cassettes compared to it, and these cassettes are way too small to go with your Hasbro one if you were going to do it. In my opinion, I actually kind of feel like they're even too small for Legends, in my opinion, but they got to fit in the chest. That's just the way it is. And, oh yeah, so I was looking around for my Ravage. Ravage is actually in his chest. Duh. Standard level of articulation with the head side to side. Over there, 360, bicep swivel. And the hand just does what the hand does. What else does that do? We got the waist swivel. We got the Magic Square. Why am I not engaging the ab crunch in this guy? I'm not engaging the Super Magic Square ab crunch in this for some reason. Okay, anyway. All the way out to here. Up there with a uniflap. Thigh swivel. Past the 90. Get a little bit in the toe. That's about it. Soundwave says you're number one. Alright, so here it is in the alt mode. And it's the same alt mode. It's the same transformation. If you want to see the transformation, then I'm going to try to link the video. It's been a year, so last year's video down below. But anyway, look at this thing. It looks really good for the front. And it looks okay for the top and the sides. The back's a mess. But, I mean, it's just wide open. Kind of the same thing Takara did. We're going to do that comparison here in just a little bit. But itching to do the comparison. But you can put these in, and they plug in differently. One of them plugs straight into the side, and then one plugs actually into the outside part of the leg there. When the one that tabs into the top. That's just how that works. There's a little slide in there. But yeah, again, see my other video for transformation if that's something that you're interested in to transform this guy. But it's not as straightforward as you would think. It doesn't have a popping, does it? I don't think it has a popping. I think you have to, I think you just force that thing open. And you can fit a cassette in there, of course, and head backwards in there. Okay, great. There is some paint app. So, silver, all the silver paint. And then, of course, the gold that's already on there. And the side stripes. That's about it. We do have this button still in there. We do now get to see on the side here. We get to see what looks to be like little knobs and stuff for volume and tuning. What tuning is, kids, is trying to get your radio station with these knobs. It's not digital. It wasn't digital back then. You had to, like, I've got one of those in my storage. When I'm in storage, I got a radio, and it still uses the old version, and it's been kicking for 15 or 20 years. So anyhow, there it is. And yeah, fix cassettes, all that good stuff that you would need. Here's Auto Scout. I gotta say, the simplest reason why I keep this one in alt mode, well, first off, I don't care really about Auto Scout as a character. I think it looks the most like a cassette in cassette mode. And it goes in here. Oh my gosh, is it gonna get stuck? It's probably gonna get stuck. Anyway, you get the point. It goes in there. I don't want it to get stuck. Now, let's say you run into some problems and you can't get your cassette out. Well, I mean, you can do that, but also, I've had it stuck before, and I was scared. But you can partially transform it, as you can see with the head back there. Once you move the head out of the way, you can just push from the back to get the cassette out. Not a big deal, not super scary, but oddly enough, this fits in and pops out nice and easy. For some reason, I just remember it just being hard to get the cassette out of there. But this one, it's easy to come out. Alright, now for a comparison, which this is all I've really got to compare it to, is the Masterpiece. And there it is. I'm not going to get rid of this guy, even though I've got not only the Fans Toys Robot Paradise one, I've also got the knockoff, or the alternative version. It's not really a knockoff, but with that, I probably should put that one in alt mode. But no, I'm going to keep this one just because this is like a sentimental attachment. But I do want to point out how much this is the Takara one, and it is darker. Takara is darker than what this one is. And Takara was darker all along than what we got. So, there we go. Oh, yeah. The backs. Feels a lot like they imitated the alt mode for Takara, which I could line all these joints up a little bit better, but it doesn't matter to me. They imitated a few things in here. Well, actually, the batteries are more on the inside, and these are more on the outside. So I guess they didn't really copy anything, but it does seem like similar outcomes. Alright, so this is the review of Soundwave, and this is the Magic Square MS-B27S, the third version of Soundwave, and I was hoping for a shiny repaint one. I guess I gotta wait for an EX if it ever comes out. Maybe I will check out a New Age down the road too, but if you missed out on the first one and the second one, this is a great figure, and Soundwave always seems to sell out. He does everything that the first one did. I do like this figure overall, but I still prefer more of the cartoon coloration in pretty much all my figures, and I like a shiny paint job. This does have a little bit of sheen to it, but if you want one, they're not very expensive because they left the cassettes out. They're a lot cheaper now with the cassettes out, and that's one way to get a Soundwave in your collection. But let me know what you guys think about this. I do have a link for you to get this at ShowZ. I did get this at ShowZ. Remember, TH Review Code to help the channel out. Like and subscribe to Here Hanger out.
Shuttle roll.
Soundwave superior, Constructicons inferior.
Who are you calling inferior? Constructicons unite!